All right, what's up, guys? Brian here, and this is sorry about that. What's up, guys? Brian here, and this is my Impact Wrestling review for last night's episode of Impact. So let's get right into it. Of course, last night's episode witnessed the fallout from this past Sunday's Bound for Glory pay-per-view event, where we saw the crowning of a new Knockouts champion in Gail Kim. We saw Eli Drake retain the Impact Global Championship with help from Alberto El Patron. We saw Sami Callihan debut, helping out OVE retain their Impact Tag Team titles, and a bunch of other stuff. So last night, there were one big question going into last night's Impact was, how would Johnny Impact react, and what kind of actions would he take against Alberto El Patron for costing him his opportunity to win the Impact Global Championship at Bound for Glory? And we found out that answer to that question. But we started off Impact with the reigning Impact Global Champion, Eli Drake, who came out along with his associate Chris Adonis. He came out, cut a promo talking about Bound for Glory, talking about Johnny Impact, talking about Alberto El Patron. He then started in. He then said that management gave him the night off and that he was going to get out of Canada because, and in his words, who would want to stay in Canada? This would lead to Petey Williams, the Canadian Destroyer, coming out to interrupt. Basically insulted Eli Drake, saying that, if you want to leave Canada, go right ahead. Nobody's going to miss you. Nobody even wants you here. Basically, this would lead to a challenge by Petey Williams to Eli Drake for a shot at the Global Championship. Eli Drake said, you want it? You want a shot? You want your shot? Let's do it. Just not tonight, maybe next week. Petey Williams then told Eli Drake, management might have given you the night off, but I didn't. Runs down to the ring. First has to deal with Chris Adonis. He would kick Chris Adonis in the face. Then would go after Eli Drake. And basically, they kind of teased like he was going to hit the Canadian Destroyer, but Chris Adonis pulled Eli Drake out of the ring to safety. They then announced that next week, in fact, it will be Eli Drake defending the Global Championship against Petey Williams in Canada. So, a big opportunity for Petey Williams, the hometown hero, and having a big opportunity to become the global champion against Eli Drake next week. Let's see, what else? We had Sanjay Dutt taking on Matt Sydal in a match that I thought was actually pretty good. A lot of back and forth. They both work. They both are good in the ring. During the match, Sydal started working on Sanjay's leg, and that kind of not led to Sanjay's downfall near the end of the match. But Sanjay Dutt would have Matt Sydal on the mat. He would look like he was going to go for his finishing move. That I think it's a 450 splash. Sydal rolled out of the way. Dutt rolled through, would wind up getting planted, and then Matt Sydal would beat Sanjay Dutt with the shooting star press. So Matt Sydal picking up a big win. After the match, kind of set up another feud. This time EC3 would come out and interrupt, saying, he would started talking about how Matt Sydal came to this company being undefeated, but anytime that Matt Sydal is in a big match situation, he always chokes. How he defeated Lashley, but then choked when he had his world title shot. EC3 started bringing up how he's got more of a killer instinct than Matt Sydal has. He's a killer. Matt Sydal's a nice guy. Basically, this is going to lead to some kind of a feud between these two, which I think would be a pretty good feud. I think these two could put on some good matches. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks and months. Let's see. We had, for the first time ever in North America, the GHC Heavyweight Championship on the line as Eddie Edwards defended against El Hijo del Fantasma. Of course, for anybody that saw Bound for Glory, remembers these two were involved in that six-man tag. Eddie Edwards was teaming with EC3 and James Storm. They took on Fantasma, Pagano, and Tejano. Fantasma hit a tombstone piledriver to Eddie Edwards on the ring apron. But this matchup last night I thought was pretty good. Of course, this match was competed under Pro Wrestling Noah rules, which means 60-minute time limit, and instead of the normal 10 count as in North America, in the United States, for Pro Wrestling Noah they have 8, where if the superstars are outside the ring, they have 20 seconds to get back in the ring. So that was pretty good to see. Different rules, for this matchup. But like I said, it was a pretty good match. A lot of back and forth. A lot of hard-hitting action. It could have gone either way. Fantasma, on a couple of occasions, looked like he was going to win the match and win the GHC heavyweight title. But in the end, it was Eddie Edwards with the Boston Knee Party and a bit of a new finishing move that he has. I don't remember what it's called. If I remember correctly, let me see. What was it? Sorry, guys. The Hard Explosion. That's what it was. I was reading something on here and of one of his other finishing moves, and so Eddie Edwards is still the GHC heavyweight champion. So big victory for Eddie Edwards, retaining his championship. But a very hard-fought battle hard-fought contest between both of these guys. Wouldn't mind seeing them going one-on-one again in the near future. Let's see. We had OVE, Dave and Jake Christ and Sami Callihan. They were in a 6-man tag. This is pretty much a squash. OVE won this matchup. Of course, Sami Callihan made his debut at Bound for Glory on Sunday, helping Dave and Jake retain the tag titles against LAX. LAX obviously didn't forget about this, as they would come out. Conan, Santana, and Ortiz would come through their usual entrance through the crowd. They would distract OVE. Then, but Homicide would come from the other side and take down Sami Callihan. They would then all of them would start brawling. It would end up where Homicide, Santana, and Ortiz would have Sami Callihan in the ring by himself. Homicide was looking to hit the Gringo Killer, which is the version of the Vertebreaker, but Sami Callihan got out of it, and Dave and Jake pulled Sami Callihan to safety outside the ring. They then announced that next week there's going to be a 6-man tag team match with LAX's Homicide, Santana, and Ortiz taking on OVE and Sami Callihan. So that should be interesting to see what happens next week. They also announced that Dan Lambert, America's Top Team, Lashley are going to be at Impact next week. what are they gonna have to say as far as their big win at Bound for Glory is concerned. Of course, we know about the Petey Williams getting his opportunity at the Impact Global Championship next week against Eli Drake. But also on last night's episode, they had a match from BCW, Border City Wrestling. Allie took on KC Spinelli in a very good matchup between these two. Allie has really improved in the ring over the last few months. She put on a great performance at Bound for Glory, and she picked up a very hard-fought victory in this matchup against KC Spinelli. So a big victory for Allie. Afterwards, they did an interview with her, talking. She brought up that Gail Kim has some kind of announcement to make next week, so that'll be interesting to see what that announcement is. And she also started talking about it. Then she talked about her big win in that matchup against Spinelli. So it'll be interesting to see what Gail Kim's announcement is next week. And then the ending of Impact last night was Impact last night. I will say this started out great, had a couple of great matches, and then the ending, it was just like, oh, we're gonna end Impact with Johnny Impact and Alberto El Patron brawling throughout the building, outside of the building, inside the building, in catering. We're gonna have Johnny Impact and Alberto El Patron end up on one of the bathroom facilities, and we're gonna have Patron get kicked off that bathroom area, and then we're gonna have Impact jump off of it while security and other people are trying to break it up from the top of that bathroom facility. Then they're going to end up outside. Then they're going to end up in the ring. They're going to brawl some more. They're going to get separated. Then Patron is going to make some comments about Johnny Impact, and then Johnny Impact's going to go back and come back and say that Alberto may be says he's the pride of Mexico. He's not the pride of Mexico. He's not even the pride of his father. And they're going to go at it again, and then Impact is going to end with Johnny Impact or Alberto Patron applying the cross arm breaker to Johnny Impact's arm on the rope. And that's pretty much how Impact ended, with Alberto El Patron going up the ramp and Johnny Impact in the ring clutching his arm. So, I thought it wasn't that great of an ending for Impact last night. That fight I don't know, it just felt flat. And but like I said, my thoughts on Impact last night, I thought that the show started out great with a good setup for next week, and then that fight between Patron, I know they were building from Bound for Glory, but it just felt flat and really did nothing for it. So with that being said, I thought last night's episode was a average to good episode last night. So if you guys watched last night's episode of Impact, let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments below. This has been my review of what took place on last night's Impact broadcast. As always, I am Brian, and thank you for watching.